Whether it's a routine 1-hour workout or some long, epic 10-hour ride, we've all gotten to that breaking point. You feel fatigued, you feel tired, you basically just crack. And if you're like me, that's not a place that you want to revisit often. Today I'm going to break down my nutrition and what I consume on 3 different ride lengths. The first is going to be a 1 to 2 hour ride, which is a typical midweek ride for me. The second is going to be a 2 to 4 hour ride, which is when I have a little bit more time on the weekends. And then the third is going to be on a 4+ hour ride. And I'll talk a little bit about what I do during that 10-hour, 200-mile Low-to-J race every September. If you want to dive deeper into any of these products, I'll post links down below. And some of them might be new products that you haven't heard of because they're not from the typical bike nutrition brands. I should add that this video isn't sponsored. There's not like a year supply giveaway or anything at the end. These are just the products that I use, and I buy them online and in stores just like you would. This is also secondary to a proper diet and proper rest. Doesn't matter how many pills or powders you consume to compensate, there's no way that you can make up for poor lifestyle choices. Let's start with what for me are typical midweek rides. These last between 1 to 2 hours, and they can be with a group or on the trainer. For these rides, I'm typically doing 2 22-ounce bottles, each with a half serving of Scratch's Active Hydration and a half serving of Optimum Nutrition's Amino Energy. And with the exception of an insanely hard effort, I find that this gets me through just about everything a 1 to 2 hour ride can throw at me. With this combo, I'm at about 100 calories and about 100 milligrams of caffeine, which for me is just enough to stay sharp without feeling kind of weird and jittery at the end. On weekends or during high volume training weeks in the summer, it's not uncommon for me to be on the bike for 2 to 4 hours multiple times during the week. For this duration, I start to ramp things up a little bit. I'll do 3 22-ounce bottles, but this time I'll do a full serving of Scratch's Active Hydration, a half serving of Optimum's Amino Energy, and I'll add a half serving of Vitargo or Scratch's Super Fuel into each bottle. I'm a big fan of getting the bulk of my calories through liquids, and so Vitargo and Scratch's Super Fuel work really, really well for me. And at this point, they're almost interchangeable. If I had to give a nod towards one, it would probably be the Super Fuel because it's more water soluble. And so if you take it with you in your jersey pocket, it's a lot easier to mix when you're out on the road. And on that note, I typically leave with 2 bottles on the bike, and then I'll either consume one beforehand or I'll put a mix in my jersey pocket to consume later in the ride. This combo produces between 550 and 850 calories, depending on whether or not I use Vitargo or Super Fuel being the more calorie dense, and about 100 milligrams of caffeine. Now, I typically leave caffeine out of one of the 3 bottles because I just don't like that jittery feeling. For rides over 4 hours, I add just a little bit more to the formula because this is where fatigue really starts to set in. I stick to the same mix as I would on a 2 to 4 hour ride, but I'll add salt sticks or sport leg pills into the routine. I keep them in like a little Tic Tac container, and I'll consume about 1 an hour depending on the weather. During Low-to-J, which is about 9.5 hours, I stick pretty religiously to this formula, although I find that I consume a lot less liquid during the last couple hours, and I'm so sick of sports drinks that all I want is water. And as a general rule of thumb, I try to consume a bottle every 60 to 90 minutes. Sticking to this schedule provides me with about 200 to 300 calories an hour, which I feel like is the right fueling rate for me. And I always consume a protein shake with a little bit of carbohydrates within 30 minutes of finishing every single workout. I'm pretty religious about that. I don't care if it's a 1-hour workout, a 5-hour workout, or a 10-hour workout. I feel like the recovery starts immediately after the workout, and I found that consuming that shake helps a ton. I also add glutamine pills into my diet regimen, which help aid in the recovery process. If you have a favorite product or something that has helped your training over the years, do me a favor and drop me a comment below. It seems like everybody has like that favorite product that they swear by, and look, I'm no different. This has kind of been my routine for the last 5 to 10 years, and I have deviated from it very little. I think when you find something that really works for you, well, you just stick with it. But I think it takes a while to get to that point. Anyways, next week we'll talk about the crux with the ceramic speed upgrades. I'm thrilled about them. This bike is now even faster. Anyways, until next time.